Amara Johnson stepped onto the private terminal walkway with the calm confidence of a woman who had earned every inch of her success. A black woman in her late 30s, she dressed in a simple beige jumpsuit, hair tied in a low bun, no jewelry except a thin gold bracelet. To strangers, she looked modest, maybe even ordinary, but behind that understated appearance was a billionaire entrepreneur who had built one of the fastest-growing aviation tech companies in the world. Her new acquisition, a luxury charter airline, was parked on the runway that morning, ready for its first inspection flight. As she stepped inside the jet, she noticed the crew busy preparing for takeoff. One attendant, Melissa, eyed her suspiciously before Amara even sat down. Her eyes flicked from Amara's inexpensive outfit to the designer seat in first class, as if the two did not belong together. Amara ignored the looks. Judgment from people who didn't know her story was nothing new. She simply placed her small leather bag beside her and prepared to review the cabin features. But for Melissa, assumptions came quicker than facts. She whispered something to another attendant, who shrugged uncomfortably. Minutes later, Melissa marched toward Amara with the forced smile of someone itching for confrontation. Without asking for a boarding pass, without greeting her respectfully, she went straight to policing her presence. "What are you doing here?" Melissa demanded. "First class is for premium passengers. Coach is in the back." Amara raised an eyebrow. "I'm exactly where I need to be." But Melissa didn't stop. Her judgment had taken over, and a storm was forming, one Amara had seen many times before. Instead of backing down after Amara calmly stated she was in the right place, Melissa's tone sharpened. It was clear she had already decided who Amara was, a woman who couldn't possibly afford first class, let alone belong on a private charter jet. She folded her arms tightly, lips curled with irritation. "Ma'am, I don't know how you even got on this plane, but first class isn't open to everyone. I'm asking you nicely, move to the back." Amara inhaled slowly. "I said I'm exactly where I should be." Melissa scoffed loudly. "Unbelievable." She reached forward, snatched Amara's boarding envelope, and flipped it open. When she saw nothing printed, because owners didn't require tickets, her suspicion flared even hotter. "So you're not even supposed to be here. Stand up. Now." Amara didn't move. And that stillness triggered something in Melissa, something ugly, rooted in bias and a false sense of power. "You people always think rules don't apply to you," Melissa muttered under her breath, loud enough for Amara to hear. Slowly, Amara stood, but not to leave, only to assert her presence. However, Melissa mistook the movement as defiance. Before anyone could intervene, she raised her hand and slapped Amara across the face. A stunned silence fell over the cabin. Other crew members gasped, frozen between shock and fear. One of them whispered, "Melissa, what did you just do?" But Melissa was still breathing heavily, adrenaline masking regret. She expected Amara to shout, to threaten, to panic. Instead, Amara simply touched her cheek, looked Melissa directly in the eye, and said in a steady voice, "You just made the biggest mistake of your career." The slap echoed like a gunshot. Every attendant froze. Melissa's breathing grew shaky, not because she regretted her action, but because she feared the consequences of being seen assaulting a passenger. The cabin supervisor, a middle-aged man named Luis, rushed over, eyes wide with disbelief. "Melissa, you crossed the line. What were you thinking?" I was protecting the cabin," she stuttered. "She wasn't supposed to be here." Luis turned to Amara, who stood poised, even dignified, despite the fresh sting on her cheek. "Ma'am," he said softly, "please accept my deepest apologies. I will have her removed immediately." But Amara raised her hand. "No. Don't remove her yet." That sentence puzzled everyone. Why keep the woman who had assaulted her? Amara took a slow breath, her voice steady. "I want the pilot and co-pilot to join us. And I want the entire crew here. There's something you all need to hear." Luis nodded urgently, sensing the seriousness. Within minutes, the cockpit crew stepped into the cabin, joining the ring of anxious faces. Melissa's confidence was fading, replaced by a trembling mixture of confusion and fear. She watched as Amara walked to the center aisle, standing like someone about to deliver a verdict. "Before I say anything," Amara said, "I want to ask you all one question. Do you know whose aircraft this is?" The crew exchanged glances. Of course, they didn't. The acquisition news was confidential until the afternoon. Melissa scoffed again, though her voice wavered. "This plane belongs to the airline. Not you." Luis whispered urgently, "Melissa, stop." But it was too late. Amara was done being silent. "Actually," she said calmly, "it belongs to me." Prompt for point 3. A realistic private jet interior with the entire flight crew gathered anxiously in the aisle, a poised black woman standing at the center addressing them, tension and shock on their faces, warm overhead cabin lighting. The words hit the cabin with the force of a sudden storm. The pilots stiffened. The attendants exchanged horrified glances. Melissa's face drained of color, her mouth falling open as if her mind refused to process the truth. You, she whispered. "Yes," Amara replied, her voice calm but unshakable. "As of last week, I completed the acquisition of Skylux Charter Aviation. This airline. This aircraft model. This specific plane." She turned slightly so the crew could see the depth in her eyes. "Today was supposed to be a quiet evaluation flight to meet my team. Instead, I was met with hostility, disrespect, and physical assault." Melissa stumbled backward, gripping a headrest for support. "No, there must be some mistake. You can't, why would? Why would someone like me own a fleet of aircraft?" Amara finished for her. "Go ahead. Say what you're thinking." Melissa's silence said everything. Amara continued, "I built $1 billion company from my living room. I came from a neighborhood where no one expected to succeed. But I worked, studied, built, and earned everything I have. You didn't see any of that. You saw my skin, my clothes, and you assumed I didn't belong." The rest of the crew lowered their eyes, ashamed, embarrassed, and deeply aware that they had allowed Melissa's behavior to go unchecked. Amara's voice softened, but carried authority. "This company will not tolerate discrimination. Ever. And today, I was given a live demonstration of what needs fixing." Melissa covered her face, shaking. She finally realized what she had done, not just to a passenger, but to the owner. Melissa's knees weakened as the weight of reality crashed down on her. The cabin was silent except for her shaky breaths. She attempted a desperate explanation, but every word felt emptier than the last. Ms. Johnson, I thought you were trespassing. I didn't know. If I had known." "That's the point," Amara cut in gently but firmly. "Respect is not reserved for people you recognize. It is not selective. It is basic human decency." Luis nodded in agreement, shame etched into his expression. "Ms. Johnson, we are ready to take immediate disciplinary action." Amara looked at Melissa, not with anger, but with clarity. There must be consequences. Not out of revenge, but accountability. She turned to Luis. "Effective immediately, she is suspended. I want a full report filed with HR. After legal review, her future with this airline will be decided." Melissa's tears spilled. She reached out helplessly. "Please. I have a family, I didn't mean." Amara exhaled slowly. "I am not blind to your humanity. But you slapped a passenger. You profiled me. You verbally insulted me. That cannot be excused." Then she added something unexpected, "Your punishment is not to destroy your life. It's to make sure you confront who you've become, and change." The cabin remained utterly still. Amara then turned away, signaling that the discussion was over. Luis guided Melissa to the back of the plane, her sobs muffled by the hum of the engines. The crew understood one thing clearly: today was not just an ownership announcement, it was an awakening. Once Melissa was escorted away, Amara asked the remaining crew to sit in the first-class cabin with her. She wanted them to hear her not as a billionaire owner, but as a leader setting a new direction. She began, "A company is only as strong as the values it lives by. Today, I experienced what too many passengers go through: assumptions, judgment, disrespect. This ends now." The crew listened intently. Some nodded, others stared down, humbled. "I chose to acquire this airline," Amara continued, "because I believe in building bridges between cultures, races, income levels, and backgrounds. Flying should make people feel safe, respected, and valued. If my own staff cannot do that, then we fix it: train better, hire better, and lead better." The pilot spoke up softly, "Ms. Johnson, we're with you. We'll support every change you want to implement." Amara smiled slightly. "Good. Because starting today, we will begin mandatory training for diversity, customer respect, and emotional intelligence. Your job is not just operational, it's human." Her tone deepened. Melissa failed today. But it was preventable. When one person becomes hostile, others must step in, not stay silent. The crew exchanged guilty looks. They understood. Before exiting the aircraft, Amara added one final message: "Remember this, you never know who you are speaking to. So treat everyone with dignity, from a billionaire to a first-time flyer." As she walked down the jet stairs into the bright daylight, the crew watched her not just with respect, but with admiration. She had not only owned the plane. She owned the moment, the lesson, and the future of the airline.